Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Um
Live from New York, this is WIUR Radio.
so yeah. Hi everybody. Good afternoon or good evening, whatever you want to say. And welcome to another episode of Music Talk Thursday. Um if you can't tell by my sweater, you might have an idea of who we're talking about today. But if you don't, we'll be speaking about Bad Bunny. so so before I get started, just real quick, I want to give a shout out to the show of the week. Um, Congratulations to Brian for winning show of the week. You guys can catch One and Done radio show every on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. So congrats to you, Brian. And a quick reminder, this is a save the date, but the Women's Herstory dinner is on March 7th in the Burke Lounge at 5 p.m. It's hosted by the Council of Academic and Special Interest Clubs. You can come see the keynote speaker, which is going to be the New Rochelle mayor, Yadira Ramos Herbert. There will be free food and drinks will be provided. Business casual attire is recommended. Um, and for more information, follow the Iona Academics Club on Instagram. So let's get started with today's episode. So like I said, we'll be talking about Bad Bunny, which is my favorite artist of all time. He has been my top artist. I kid you not, he's been my top artist on Apple Music for the past 3 years now. So I like him a lot. We'll be talking about him and album that came out. Debbie tira más photos, which means I should have taken more photos, pictures, whatever. So the album came out January 5th. This marks it being his sixth studio album, and it's been a ride for me because I've been a fan of him since 2016. So it's wow, it's just a crazy ride he's had. So of course, if you know Bad Bunny's music, you know he's very known for his reggaeton music, but in this album, it's a very different vibe. Obviously, we still get a lot of reggaeton from him in a couple of the tracks, but we also see a lot of styles that honestly I did not expect from him. So we get styles like salsa, bomba, and plena, and like I said, his usual styles that he normally does, reggaeton. We have features from a lot of newer or like underrated artists. All these artists are from Puerto Rico. So if you have the time after this episode, you could check out their music and also check out this album because it's a really good album. But we have features from Right Now, a band called Chewy, another band called Los Ploneros de la Cresta, and then two rappers, Davey and Omar Courts. So, like I said, if you have time after this episode, please check out their music. They all make really amazing music, and check out this album. Um, so yeah. Um, Now I want to get into this little concert he's having. So, album came out January 5th. It was announced on January 13th that he will be doing a residency in Puerto Rico. He's doing 30 shows. 30 shows in one of the biggest arenas in Puerto Rico called the Coliseo. It'll be from July 11th to September 14th. Um, First 9 dates, which I like how he did this because it kind of like I feel like it shows lots of love to the Puerto Rican residents. But the first 9 shows are for Puerto Rican residents only. And then, the rest, like whether you're a Puerto Rican resident or not, you can attend. I'm actually attending one of those shows. Wow. And I'm very excited because seeing him in Puerto Rico has like been on my bucket list for a minute now. And I'm finally gonna be able to go to this concert and it doesn't feel real yet. Like I got the tickets the day like the sale happened. And like it still doesn't feel real that I'm actually going flying over there to see one of my favorite artists ever. But the 30 dates in the Coliseo, July 11th to September 14th, all 30 dates sold out within minutes. I just want to put that out there. Um, and I just find it so funny because it was like for at least the shows, the first 9 shows for like the Puerto Rican residents, I'm telling you guys right now, and Bad Bunny, his impact is insane. Like I'm telling you, he had people line up outside of that stadium for who knows how long just to get tickets to go see him. So that just that just says enough about him as an artist. Like he's really like not I don't want to say up and coming because he's been up there, but it's like it's for real now. It's serious. Um so yeah, I'm very excited for that show though. Like I can't I physically like I just want to skip straight to August 9th and just be there already. Like I'm just getting so impatient, but I'm very excited and extremely grateful to get those tickets because I was I was in an insane amount of stress just doing that ticketing alone cuz it was like when you were like signing up for it, the thing was like he did like a little quiz. So he was like it was like asking, the usual questions like what dates are you going for? Da, 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 or like how many tickets. But then he asked what was the name of his most recent album. And I like how he did that because it stopped like it stopped the bots, I guess, from like stealing tickets from like real fans. And I personally think more artists should implement something like that. But I really love how he just did that. But like I said, very, very excited to see him in August. Yeah. Next, so there was a lot I want to talk about with this album because I feel like this album has had a global impact, to be honest. And yeah, so like example, one of the songs off the album, DTMF, which is like I said in the beginning of this episode, which is basically like the abbreviated version of the album title. Um, it's gathering a lot of attention on social media, like everywhere, because I feel like a lot of people are kind of resonating with the song. Like I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, like this song, like it reminds me of my grandparents," or it just reminds them of someone, and it's made lots of people, including me, very emotional. Um, and like there's people like from everywhere using the sound on like Instagram, TikTok, like what I've seen at least, like obviously, I've seen people from Puerto Rico using it. I've seen people from um the states using it. Um but then, I've also seen people from like Brazil using it. I've seen people from like Argentina, Mexico, just it's that song is everywhere. Like it's insane. It's truly insane. And yeah, um another thing was Baile Inolvidable became that's one of the salsa songs that's on the album. This became the first salsa song to reach number 1 on that US Apple Music charts. I find that personally crazy because there have been so many good salsa songs in the past. And like even songs from like when I wasn't born, but like I know them because of like my parents or my grandparents. Like there's just so many amazing salsa songs out there, but I feel like they never got enough recon recognition, and it's crazy how it only took until now for one to get on the number 1 spot on the Apple Music US charts, like, not even Latin America, we're talking the United States. So, And that song is great. But like again, like I said, there's many salsa songs out there that deserved more recognition and they just didn't get that recognition on the charts. And now finally we see a salsa song getting the recognition that it deserves. So I'm very happy about that. Um and then there's like the usual global impacts of him. Like, he's obviously right now the most streamed Latin artist on Spotify. I mean, what do we expect? He's had a huge year. In my opinion, he's had a huge year since 2020. But I feel like it only went up more for him in 2022. But yeah, he's the most streamed Latin artist on Spotify. So that's that. And then he's actually the only artist with multiple albums on the top 20 Spotify global weekly album charts, whatever. This current album actually is currently at number 1 for that. So, and his album from 2022 is at number 5 if I'm not mistaken. So, he's just great. Like he's just amazing and I'm glad to see that people are finally recognizing more Puerto Rican artists now because it's like, y'all, we make good music. These people make great music and it's like they didn't get enough recognition in like the states because it's like, oh, like it's Spanish speaking, I don't understand it. But my thing is, I feel like you don't have to understand the language just to enjoy it. Like you can enjoy the music for the beats, the instruments and everything, but you don't have to necessarily understand what it's saying. Like, I don't know. I just feel like not just Puerto Rican artists, but honestly, Spanish artists in general, they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve. And as it should, as they should. And like the last thing about like global impact wise that I really liked about this album was that he kind of used it. Well, specifically, he used one of the songs on the album to kind of educate people because if you don't know what's going on, there's a lot of stuff happening in Puerto Rico right now. And I like how he uses his voice, Bad Bunny, he uses his voice to speak up on everything that's happening over there because it's kind of being ignored by the media and they're kind of just like I feel like they're kind of avoiding it. But as someone that is Puerto Rican, like I'm fully Puerto Rican, as someone that's fully Puerto Rican, I feel like not seeing like what's happening over there on the island, not getting enough recognition in media, it kind of like it hurts me a little bit, especially because I have family there too. So it's like it kind of hurts. But I'm glad to see that there's an artist out there that's using their voice and their platform to speak up on what's happening over there. So yeah. Um yeah. Now my overall thoughts, that had to be one of his best albums. Like I feel like I say this for every album that he releases, but like genuinely I think that was one of his best albums because it just felt very like it felt very pure and like straight from the heart and you could tell that he takes time in crafting his work and that album just showed it. Like it was amazing. Like I feel like that's like my number 1 album of his right now. Um and like my favorite song honestly, like I don't even know because that album was that good. um like I feel like every day my favorite song off that album changes. So it's like I don't even know anymore what my favorite song is. Um And yeah, just the whole album was good. And I also excuse me. I also like how the album felt like, and a lot of people have been saying this too, but like the album felt like a love letter to Puerto Rico, as most people have been saying. Because like I said earlier, like not only is he using his platform to speak out on things happening on the island in his songs, but also just like he's like not saying that he doesn't do this, but like he really, like really used this album to recognize Puerto Rico. And like he used, if I'm fun fact actually, um so for the like the song that I had mentioned that I reached number one on the salsa charts, or like I mean, sorry, the US global charts. Um the people in the band playing the instruments and stuff, they're all students from a school in Puerto Rico. I want to say ranging between the ages, I want to say of 17 and up. They're all students, all from Puerto Rico, all playing those instruments. And like that right there just it makes it feel like a love letter because he's even he's even supporting just like local schools and like having them and base and like saying to them like be on my album. Like especially knowing how big of an artist he is, like imagine like a huge artist like that telling you come be on my album. Like how else would you react? Like I I would personally be in shock. Um but yeah, and like I said earlier again, he has featured on the album like all Puerto Rican artists. They're all either like very underrated or like they're more newer in the scene. Like I want to say like 2 weeks ago, I had checked out Now's music and I've never heard of her before until this album. And I checked out her own solo music and it's amazing. And like now I really like her. And like I want to definitely get more into her music. And like also like for another example, on his last album, he had young Miko on it, which is another artist from Puerto Rico. I'd never heard of her until that album came out. I ended up getting more into her music and I ended up just becoming a really big fan of her. Like I ended up going to her concert and it was amazing. So I just really like that he uses his platform to really uplift. That was the word I was looking for. He uses his platform to uplift Puerto Rican artists and just Puerto Rican people in general. And overall, I just can't wait to see what comes out of this album. Like, I just went like I know it just came out in January and we're only in March right now. So to me, I just this just feels like the beginning. Like there's there's more to come for this album. And I'm ready. And I also hope that he ends up getting nominated for a Grammy for this album. Like it's that good that I think it genuinely deserves to be nominated and win a Grammy. That's how good it is. Um, but that's all for my thoughts on the album. Like, there's nothing really much to say when an album is that good because it just leaves you so speechless. So I think that's all I really have to say for today. But just before I go, just one more time, just wanted to remind you all about this. Um, about the dinner is on the Women's Her Story dinner, March 7th. Again, Burke Lounge, 5 p.m. Um, the key speaker will be the mayor of New Rochelle. Free food and drinks will be provided. Business casual attire recommended. And like I said, for more information, please go to the Iona Academics Club Instagram page. So yeah. Um, that's all for today, guys. And see you next time. Bye.